You found yourself on another edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United, and on today's episode, the Cleveland Cavaliers dominate the Washington Wizards in a get-right game. The Sacramento Kings took 2 overtimes, but won a war against the Orlando Magic, and the Bulls are heartless once again as they collapse in the second half and ran out of energy. We got a lot to break down right here on Let 'Em Know Kings United. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for the post-game reaction podcast of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and the Chicago Bulls. This is Let 'Em Know Kings United. Let 'em know, nation, you already know what time it is. Welcome to another edition of Let 'em Know Kings United, your Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and Chicago Bulls post-game reaction podcast. And I'm, of course, your host, Skylar Weisberg. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. And as a reminder, you can find Let 'em Know Kings United, which is 100% completely free and available on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, Pandora, or wherever else you want to listen to this show. Give the show a follow on those platforms if you can, please. Turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review. Whatever podcast platform you want to listen to this on, it is a great way to support the podcast, and I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. On today's show, we got 2 of our 3 teams that got big-time W's to talk about as the Cleveland Cavaliers got right against the Washington Wizards, and the Sacramento Kings were in an absolute war, a double overtime war against the young, talented, up-and-coming Orlando Magic, while the Chicago Bulls ran out of energy in the second half and showed absolutely no heart in Madison Square Garden. We're going to get into all of that on today's program. But first, I want to begin with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who not only beat the Washington Wizards, but smoked the Washington Wizards 140-101. It was so bad that the Cleveland Cavaliers made the Washington Wizards literally disappear right before our very eyes on Wednesday night. Now, before I even get into the game, the Cleveland Cavaliers, for the first time this season, or I should say the first time since the NBA in-season tournament, wore their City Edition jerseys. I love their City Edition jerseys this year. Last year, I think it was kind of boring with like the land theme with the white wood color and light blue. That didn't make any sense for me. But this jersey with the wine and the gold and the marquee shading, that definitely made sense for Cleveland. And that court, though, sheesh! I mean, that court was absolutely magnifique. Perfect. I thought the in-season tournament court for the Cleveland Cavaliers looked nice, but my God, that court for Cleveland looked like a damn theater, and the Cleveland Cavaliers were the stars of the show. And they looked like stars of the show all night long against a Washington Wizards team that plays with a lot of pace. They like to score a lot, but they like to make quick shots. That was the scouting report coming in. Shout out to my man on the broadcast team, Brad Dory, who helped us out with that. The Cleveland Cavaliers did an amazing job this game, forcing the Washington Wizards to play with ball movement. Because when you have Kyle Kuzma And Jordan Poole, former NBA champion Jordan Poole, who, by the way, looks like still he's lost in Washington. I mean, he should have looked better with Golden State and Steph Curry, but that's beside the point. The point is, the Cleveland Cavaliers did an amazing job last night forcing the Washington Wizards to move the basketball, or especially move without the ball, because their style of play is playing with pace and taking quick shots. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers did an amazing job of forcing Washington to not only move the ball, but make some extra passes. Something that head coach Wes Unseld Jr., who is the worst coach in NBA history, by the way. I'm not counting you out, Monty Williams. You're $78 million worth of bull crap, but that's beside the point. Max Strus scored 24 points and made his first 6 3-pointers as the Cavaliers had their highest scoring game and most lopsided win of the season. This was the first game of a mini playoff series between Washington and Cleveland, but I expect Cleveland to take care of business tonight and do what they were supposed to do. I don't know if they're going to score 140 again, but I expect Cleveland to do what they're supposed to do. Donovan Mitchell scored 22 points in 24 minutes to help Cleveland snap a mini 2-game losing streak. LeVert added 21 in 23 minutes off the bench. Jared Allen, let me tell you something. I was hating on Jared Allen earlier on the year. I'm not going to lie to you. I was hating on the fact that how Jared Allen is soft all the time. I have to admit when I was wrong, right? I have to admit when I'm wrong. Jared Allen has improved drastically. 17 points, 7 assists, 19 rebounds. This dude is going crazy. Jared Allen said, "This is the style of basketball we wanted to play when everyone was healthy, and we're finding that rhythm now. The offense runs through me a lot," speaking of Jared Allen, "and teams have to respect my ability to pass and drop it off when I have the ball." It's almost like Jared Allen is controlling the offense, and he's controlling a 2-man game between Donovan Mitchell, Jared Allen, Strus Allen. At one time, I saw maybe a LeVert Allen 2-man game. I love that. I absolutely love that. Allen is a 6'11" center out of Texas who made the East All-Star team 2 years ago, is averaging 21 points, 16 rebounds, and 6 assists over the last 5 games. Can I say he's one of the most improved players so far? You damn right he is. And Max Strus said about J.A., Jared has been phenomenal. He's been a workhorse for the last couple of weeks. We've got to keep relying on him. We got to keep relying on him and keep it going. I mean, when Jared Allen plays like this, the Cleveland Cavaliers are simply unstoppable. And when Max Strus is knocking down them threes, good luck to the rest of the NBA stopping them. I mean, they're in for a long night. As far as Washington, Kyle Kuzma scored 16 points for the Wizards, which is allowing a league-high 126 points. Washington with the third worst record in the NBA, 6-27, haven't won consecutive games since February and March of last year. I mean, that is just straight up pathetic. That is just straight up pathetic, because I don't think Washington doesn't know how to build a franchise. They really don't. I mean, sure, they're hitting the reset button. Sure, they made a couple of playoff appearances, but it's too many one-and-done seasons for Washington. Cleveland, though, they simply dominated. They out-rebounded Washington 62-36, with Tristan Thompson grabbing 9 of them and Georges Niang having 8 of them and 15 points off the bench. The Cavaliers shot 53% for the field and made 23s. Not the 25 that the Orlando Magic did that I'm going to get to in a second, but 23s in 42 attempts. Wes Unseld Jr. gave the Cleveland Cavaliers all the credit. He said they got it done on all levels. On the glass, in the paint, they made 23s. I didn't think we brought the amount of physicality. Rebounding is a mindset, and that's got to be a priority for us. Washington, y'all better learn. Y'all better learn from these Cleveland Cavaliers because they came in with the right mentality. Cleveland did. They came in and set the tone, especially in the second quarter. The first quarter was a little sluggish, 34-31. I have to admit that. But for the second quarter on, those boys have been turning it on. They outscored the Washington Wizards. Cleveland did 34-20 in the third quarter, 39-26 in the fourth quarter, and 33-24 in the second quarter. So the first quarter, I think Washington won that quarter. Despite a three-point edge for Cleveland, I think Washington won that quarter. But from the second quarter on, the Cleveland Cavaliers just played their game, and they just shot the living lights out of the Washington Wizards, which, by the way, the Cavs are 6-3 since the injury news of DG and Evan Mobley. They made just 18 of 79 three-pointers in their previous two games, but had Strus, Mitchell, LeVert, Niang, and Sam Merrill all sink at least 3 three-pointers in the win. JB said, we're trying to play more of the analytics game since we are down bodies. They say you have to find a way to be aggressive and shoot as many threes as you can. That's what we're doing because we've got guys who can make them. The Cleveland Cavaliers have some sharp shooters on this team, and I guess the shooting priority in the offseason has worked out recently. There were 14 lead changes in the first 10 minutes of this game, and neither team had a double-digit advantage until Donovan Mitchell beat the halftime buzzer with a three-pointer that put Cleveland up 67-55, but Max Strus and the Cleveland Cavaliers simply took care of business from that point on. Strus said, we've been playing with more pace and space the floor lately. It's fun to play like that, sharing the basketball the way we are. The Cavaliers have found an identity unlike last year. The identity for last year for Cleveland was defense and scoring in the paint. They still have the paint identity. The defense, I don't know. The defense is hit or miss. But their identity on offense is spreading the floor, making threes, and sharing the basketball. I mean, that's the kind of basketball that I get fully invested in right there. Cavaliers shot 54% from the field, 47% from three. They shot 75% from the foul line. Washington simply got cooked, 41% from the field, 34% from three, 45% from the foul line. The rebounds, 62-36 in favor of Cleveland, 18 of those on the offensive glass. The assist, 37-23 in favor of Cleveland. The blocks were 8-5. Cleveland, the steals were 8-5. Washington, the points in the paint, 68-52 in favor of Cleveland. The fast break points, 25-14 in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Simply, the Cavaliers dominated the game in every single phase of this game. Not a single Wizard did well, with the exception of Kyle Kuzma, who finished the game with 16 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, and a steal. Off the bench, Muscala and Kispert had 12 points respectively, but Kispert had a rebound, and that's pretty much it. Muscala was 2 for 5 from 3 with 4 rebounds and 3 assists, but a combined plus-minus of minus 42 for those 4 players, and that's just bad. That is just bad. Cleveland, though, a well-played team brand of basketball as Max Strus led the way with 24 points. He was a plus 32 on the night, 6 of 8 from three-point range, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and a block. Spider with 22, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 big-time blocks. Jarrett Allen continues to be a big improvement for this squad. 17 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 big-time blocks. LeVert off the bench, absolutely outstanding. 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal and a block, a plus 22. Sam Merrill, shoot that ball, young man, shoot that ball. 11 points, 3 of 9 from 3, a plus 27. Look, that is a game, that is a complete team win for Cleveland in every single aspect of the game. It was a get-right win that the Cavaliers needed, and I think they will continue to take care of business against Washington tonight before playing a matinee game against the San Antonio Spurs on Sunday before traveling to Paris to take on the Brooklyn Nets. Coming up next, it was an absolute war at the Golden One Center as the Orlando Magic and the Sacramento Kings went toe-to-toe. It took 2 overtimes, but the beam is lit inside Golden One, and we're going to talk about it right here when we come back on Let 'Em Know Kings United. Welcome back to Let 'Em Know Kings United, everybody. And I got 3 words for you to describe the next game I'm going to talk about. What a war between the Sacramento Kings and the Orlando Magic. It took 2 overtimes, but the Sacramento Kings got it done 138 to 135 in one of the most thrilling games of the season for the Sacramento Kings. I mean, it was a magnificent basketball game. Not like the 175-172 instant classic between the Kings and the Clippers from last year. But that was a magnificent game. A magnificent game. But Sacramento, at times, I thought they were not going to solve the second night of the back-to-back curse. I thought that this moment would never come. But for the first time this season, the Sacramento Kings got the first win of the season on a second night of a back-to-back. Now, De'Aaron Fox, he did not have his best night shooting-wise for Sacramento. We've all had tough nights, and I understand that. But 2 guys came up really big for Sacramento. Malik Monk, 37, off the bench. He should be a starter at this freaking point. I know Chris Duarte got the start for the second straight time, and I understand why they were doing that because of the defense. But it's time. It's time to start Malik Monk. Absolutely no excuses. But let's not forget the all-star for the Sacramento Kings. We all know De'Aaron Fox is going to be the all-star, right? But you know who I'm going to talk about next. Oh, Domantas Sabonis. Oh, Domantas Sabonis. He got his 7th triple-double this season. 22 points, 23 rebounds, 12 assists. But every single person, whether on Kings media or whatever kind of media they're talking about, they hating. They hating on Domantas Sabonis. They sleeping on this man. They saying, oh, let's see how Domantas Sabonis does in the playoffs. He was terrible in the playoffs. He's a terrible person, or he is a terrible player. Watch what Domas is doing. Domas is simply cooking out here. He's cooking every single team that he plays against. The Kings overcame a hot shooting night by the shorthanded Magic, who, by the way, were without Franz Wagner near the beginning of the game. He injured his ankle 5 minutes in, and they left the game. But what's crazy about this is the Orlando Magic's identity was defense and scoring in the paint, much like the Cleveland Cavaliers' identity from last year. The game plan that Mike Brown and the Sacramento Kings initiated in this game is, you know what? This team is not a good three-point shooting team, speaking of the Orlando Magic here. Let's force them to shoot threes. Let's make them a three-point shooting team. Unfortunately for the Sacramento Kings, this Orlando Magic team was lights out from three-point range. 25 threes to break the Orlando Magic franchise record for most threes in a game. But you know what? I can't blame the Sacramento Kings for giving up that many threes because that was the game plan. That was the game plan coming in. They knew they're a defensive-minded team. They knew that they like to score in the paint. They also knew that they're not good at shooting threes coming into this game or coming into this season at all. But 25 three-point shots by the Orlando Magic, hey, I can't blame the Sacramento Kings for giving up that many threes because that was the game plan. Sometimes hot nights happen, and sometimes the Orlando Magic was just shooting hot from deep three-point range. So I can't blame the Sacramento Kings for giving up that many threes. Paolo Banchero, ladies and gentlemen, he is an all-star for the Orlando Magic. The only legitimate good player that the Orlando Magic had besides Franz Wagner. He had a career-high 43 points to lead the Magic in scoring, but missed a potential tying three as the final buzzer sounded. Jalen Suggs, the Energizer Bunny, scored 24. The Magic were without a lot of guys. They were without slow-mo Joe Ingles. They were without Cole Anthony. But Sacramento found a way to win this game, despite them outscoring Orlando 40-25 in the second quarter. Mike Brown said, for our guys to fight the way they fought and find a way in 2 overtimes, I applaud them because there were a handful of times we could have just cashed it in. De'Aaron Fox made 2 field goals in the second overtime, including a jumper that put the Kings up 137-135 in under a minute after the teams had furiously traded baskets. Paolo Banchero said about the Magic, just wanted to do whatever I could, just be aggressive, really just doing whatever we can to get the win. We've taken some tough losses, we're fighting right now. Brown said the game plan was to protect the paint and allow Orlando to shoot from distance. The Magic took advantage with a record-setting night from beyond the arc. Malik Monk said, we did exactly what Brown wanted us to do. They were just hitting shots tonight. They hit a lot of shots. Hats off to them. And like I said, I can't blame the Sacramento Kings for giving up that many threes. I can't blame them because that was the game plan. Sometimes a team catches fire when they take away one thing from the game plan. The Orlando Magic were forced to shoot threes. Credit to the Orlando Magic. I mean, their three-point shooting was absolutely incredible. But Sabonis entered as one of 7 players with multiple triple-doubles and completed the feat Wednesday early in the third quarter. It was his 5th triple-double in the last 9 games. The Kings have won 5 in a row over the Orlando Magic and responded a night after losing at home to the Charlotte Hornets, who had dropped 11 straight coming into the game. Let's be honest, the Hornets game was the most predictable trap game I've ever seen in a long damn time. The Magic have lost 4 of 5 and are winless in the first 3 games of a 4-game West Coast swing. Both teams were coming off losses and playing in the back end of the back-to-back. Banchero said, we played a hell of a game despite everything that happened with injuries. We gave ourselves a shot, and that's all we can ask for. Keegan Murray said, throughout the season, we've overcame adversity. I feel like we're a team that handles it well when it happens, and today was no different. All of our guys are calm and just stick with it throughout the game. The Magic already shorthanded with Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, Markelle Fultz, and Joe Ingles out, saw 3 more key players sustain injuries on Wednesday. Franz Wagner, the Magic's second leading scorer, appeared to hurt his right ankle in the first quarter after landing it while contesting a shot. Gary Harris left the game with a right calf strain, and Banchero sprained his right ankle, but Paolo Banchero was the only one returned to the game. Jamal Mosley said Wagner will be reevaluated when the team gets to Denver for a game against the Nuggets on Friday. Mosley gave the Magic a ton of credit. He said, I can't say enough about the group. Every person that was available played, contributed, fought, battled, and they had to dig down deep. I'm so proud of the way which they competed, never got away from them. them. I want to give credit to both teams. Kudos for Sacramento to finding a way to win the game in double overtimes, and kudos to the Orlando Magic for playing a magnificent game and shooting the lights out from three-point range. It was an entertaining game to watch, and I am honored that I watched this game, and I am so honored that I get to break this down right here on this podcast. That was a really entertaining ball game. Both teams shot 48% from the field. You can argue 49% from the field. The three-point percentage was the difference, as Orlando shot 56% from three-point range, 25 of 44. The rebounds were 58-39 in favor of Sacramento. The assists were 36-33 Kings. The steals 10-9 Orlando. Blocks 7-3 Orlando. The fast break points were 19-10 in favor of Sacramento. The points in the paint, all Sacramento, 66-24. But again, the three-point shooting gave the Orlando Magic a complete shot in this game, but Sacramento was able to hold on and get, finally, the elusive win on the second night of a back-to-back. Paolo Banchero continues to prove, or continues to show the Orlando Magic why he is an all-star caliber player. 43 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He was 6 for 9 from three-point range. Jalen Suggs, 24 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 3 rebounds. Off the bench, Houston, 15 points, 4 of 6 from three-point range. As far as the Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox, 15 points. He was 6 for 22 for the field. Not his best night, but he had 7 assists and 4 rebounds. Keegan Murray, 28 points, 12 rebounds, a double-double for him. Domas, Domantas Sabonis, Mr. Triple-Double, 22 points, 12 assists, 23 rebounds, 2 steals, a block, 6 for 9 from three-point range. Malik Monk off the bench, you already know, 37 points, 9 assists, 3 rebounds. Chris Duarte, 0 points in 10 minutes. I mean, what are we doing? Kevin Huerter, only 2 points off the bench. What are we doing? Harrison Barnes, you played decent with 17 points, 3 rebounds and assists, but I still think you are absolute garbage. And I've been hearing that Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, and Harrison Barnes are available in recent trade talks. I think it's time for Sacramento to upgrade, because those 3 players are absolutely not cutting it. The next game that they have tonight against Toronto, I need to see Malik Monk in the starting lineup. I think it's time to see the Kentucky connection in the starting lineup, but I'm not Mike Brown. He, at the end of the day, makes the call. I'm just making a bold prediction here. But coming up next, I'm going to talk about how a Chicago Bulls team showed absolutely no heart and no energy, especially in the second half, against Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle in a prime-time game in Madison Square Garden. Buckle up your seatbelts for this one when we come back on Let 'Em Know Kings United. Welcome back to Let 'Em Know Kings United, everybody. And the next game that I'm going to talk about, I'm probably going to try to keep this short, sweet, and to the point, but knowing my emotions, it's kind of like hard not to. This was a game that was on national television, right? It would be a really good showcase for the New York Knicks, but especially to the Chicago Bulls, to showcase that the Chicago Bulls really could find their identity without Zach LaVine or Nikola Vucevic. The first half of this game between the Knicks and the Bulls was really, really competitive. I thought the Bulls really shot the ball well, especially from three-point range in the first half. Come the second half, though, I did not see that same energy. I did not see the same energy of the Chicago Bulls in the second half. What I did see is the same old Bulls with Zach LaVine on the team. The same old Bulls that show absolutely no heart. The same old Bulls that don't lock in defensively. The same old Bulls that allow Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson to go absolutely off as the New York Knicks pounce the Bulls 116-100 on national television. Now, if you're Chicago, you can keep your head up at least for the first half, right? I thought the first half of this game was really competitive. We shot the ball well, especially from three-point range. I could take that and I could tolerate that. But in the second half, though, I want to give credit to where credit is respectfully due. And that credit belongs to the New York Knicks, because the New York Knicks in the second half turned it up. They turned it up, especially on the defensive end. I mean, Isaiah Hartenstein was an absolute brick wall. 10 points, 5 blocks, but a career high 20 rebounds? I mean, Andre Drummond, where the hell were you, bro? Missing layups? Missing dunks? Getting outworked for rebounds? Like, where the hell were you, bro? But the shooting for the Bulls, for the most part, did really, really well. I mean, DeMar DeRozan had 28 points. Kobe White had his best game in recent weeks with 26. And Alex Caruso, he played good for the most part. But Billy Donovan said, we've had opportunities to make some plays, and we didn't make enough. We just couldn't convert enough of our opportunities. Randle and Brunson really played well down the stretch. The Bulls played their last game without 2 of their 4 leading scorers. Nikola Vucevic, who missed his 5th straight game because of a strained left growing or an abductor, or Zach LaVine, who hasn't played since November 28th, who was sidelined by inflammation of his right foot. Coach Thibodeau said, we started making simple plays, and when we do that, we're pretty good offensively. I want to give credit to where credit is due for the New York Knicks, because especially in the second half, they turned it up, especially on the defensive end. I thought the offense for the New York Knicks in the second half was more simple. They were able to make more plays, and the Chicago Bulls couldn't even do a damn thing about it. Now, there is some good news coming for the Chicago Bulls tonight. They are going to be with Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, who are going to be returning tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. But I did hear, though, that they're coming off the bench. At first I thought, why are they coming off the bench? But I thought, okay, especially for Zach LaVine, they got to get back into a rhythm, right? They got to get back into a flow, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So I really don't blame Billy Donovan for allowing Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic to come off the bench. But as far as the Bulls, you were on national television. You had a golden opportunity to showcase the new and improved Chicago Bulls. The Bulls that played well without the basketball. The Bulls that moved. The Bulls that showed fight. The Bulls that showed heart. The Bulls that were dive cutting. But did you give me that? You gave me that in the first half, but you got back to the same old Bulls in the second half. We were playing good, but we were back to the same old bull crap. There is absolutely no fight in the second half for Chicago, no heart, and no urgency. All credit to the Knicks. They turned it up on both ends of the floor, especially Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, who went absolutely crazy. But my God, you let Isaiah Hartenstein outwork you. You allowed Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson to go absolutely crazy. OG Anunoby each scored 11 points, as well as Dante DiVincenzo. But that second half effort was absolutely inexcusable, and it was absolutely disgraceful. Now that you got Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic back tonight, coming off the bench in a trap game against the Charlotte Hornets that beat recently the Sacramento Kings. If you don't beat the Charlotte Hornets with Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic back, I'm requesting a trade right out of the city of Chicago. I gotta be honest with you. I gotta be honest, because these Bulls, the past 2 games, we've looked absolute garbage. I understand that we got embarrassed against the Philadelphia 76ers. That's a much better team, and I can understand that. But when you get outworked by a New York Knicks team with Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, who was a really great pickup for the New York Knicks, by the way, and Josh Hart and Isaiah Hartenstein especially, that's embarrassing, bro. That is just embarrassing. I get the Philadelphia loss, but this loss was absolutely disgraceful. That second half, you went back to the same old bull crap that caused me to go on a rant. You show up that way against Charlotte, we gonna have problems. The Knicks shot 51% for the field. Bulls shot 41% for the field. The three-point percentage, the Bulls were hitting threes, 40% for the field. So I will give the Chicago Bulls all the credit in the world in that regard. The free throw percentage, 81% for the Bulls, 82% for the Knicks. So pretty even. The rebounds, though, 52-39 in favor of the Knicks. The assist numbers were 29-24 in favor of the Knicks. The steals, 9-6 Bulls. The blocks, 7 apiece. 16 turnovers for the New York Knicks, all of them in the first half, which is kind of a bummer because when the Knicks had a golden opportunity in the first half to take advantage, after the first half locker room, I think we were lackadaisical, and I thought that we didn't show any urgency to come out in the second half with more energy than what we should have. The points in the paint, 54-36 in favor of the Knicks. The fast break points, 14-13 in favor of the New York Knicks. Simply put, the second half, the New York Knicks showed up and showed more energy than the Chicago Bulls. You gotta be able to play consistently for both halves if you want to win. I mean, sure, you're going to get Nikola Vucevic, Zach LaVine back tonight, but this is going to be a test. This is going to be a test to see if the Bulls can remain competitive with Vuce and Zach coming back. DeMar DeRozan, he did really well. 28 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 for 4 from 3. I appreciate that. I also appreciate Kobe White, who got off of a 3-point shooting snide, shooting 6 of 9 from the 3-point range with 26 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. The Kobe White of old is back. Alex Caruso, 13 points, 4 steals, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, with 4 rebounds. He was an absolute pest on the defensive end. He also got a block along with DeRozan and Kobe White. Andre Drummond, I don't know what the deal was with you, bro. 13 points, 16 rebounds, which I really appreciate, but 2 steals and a block? Like, come on, bro. And 3 personal fouls? Like, come on, bro. You know better than that. Jalen Brunson, he went absolutely crazy. He is an all-star for a reason. 31 points, 13 assists, and 3 rebounds. Julius Randle was absolutely hooping. 35 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Isaiah Hartenstein is the star of the night for me. 10 points, 5 blocks, 20 rebounds. I mean, that is monster. That is monster for the New York Knicks, getting Isaiah Hartenstein to step the hell up. But my God, did the Bulls collapse and show no energy in the second half. All credit to the New York Knicks. They turned it up on both ends of the floor, and they were able to get right back on track. Unfortunately for the Bulls, there was just no heart. There was no heart, there was no energy, and that was the difference, especially in the second half. That's going to do it for today's edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United. You can find this show on Amazon Music, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Radio Public, Pandora, or wherever you want to listen to this show. Give the show a follow on those platforms. Turn on your notifications so you know about the next episode. Please rate, spread the word out to your friends, and give Let 'Em Know Kings United a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you want to listen to this on. I'm your host, Skylar Weisberg. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time for another edition of Let 'Em Know Kings United.